So after seeing Jackass Forever, I was on my A-list app and trying to find new movies for this week to watch. And I saw that there was a couple of movies that I thought before I see the new ones, maybe I'll pay these ones a visit. And given well, honestly, I didn't even see it because it was Black History Month. I didn't even occur to me until after the fact. But I went to go see Who We Are: A Chronicle of Racism in America by Emily Kunstler and Sarah Kunstler. I don't know if they're pronouncing their last names right, but uh, there you go. And long story short, if you've seen a documentary about racism, uh, you've seen them. You've seen this one for the most part. As it states, it is a chronicle, like from beginning to current, of racism in America, back from when they were slaves to now, when people are getting Confederate soldier statues taken down in their cities. And the whole movie is set as a presentation done by Jeffrey Robinson, who I guess he was in New York and he had a panel to do. And this was that panel. You basically watch his panel of this presentation, and it's interspersed with real life occurrences of when he went to certain landmarks or cities and such to, uh, for instance, go to a slave museum, which used to be like an actual uh, slave shop, I guess you can call it, where people would actually go buy slaves and transformed into a museum. And there are scenes where there are going to talk to people, like real people in current day, obviously, who are making things happen, such as a Confederate statue, like I said, being taken down in a city. Point is, uh, the one thing this movie has going for it is that it is a movie that talks about current day too. It's mostly up until the last, I don't know, fourth of the movie. It's all like the history of slavery, and he talks about certain people who, like, just certain random, famous people, such as presidents, who owned slaves. And he points out, like, America's a pretty shitty place in terms of slavery. Like, we're still like pretty damn racist. If I mean, not that you need me or this movie to tell you that. However, it's been pretty bad. Even in the last like half a century, it's been pretty bad. I mean, just 100 years ago, even after black people, quote unquote, got their rights, they were still lynching them, which is something I found like, oh shit. Even after they got their rights, they were still pretty fucked. And I mean, you could argue they're still lynching them, honestly. Uh, but again, it's this movie didn't really stand out so much as a eye opener. There's nothing in it that you haven't already heard or seen. It's really strengthened by the fact that it is, or at least has, current day topics of discussion and just points of interest. Like, they don't talk about George Floyd, but they talk about like George Floyd-esque cases when certain people were uh, subjugated and killed, just like George Floyd. And uh, you see his name. One thing that I found absolutely fascinating, as a little factoid that I wouldn't have otherwise known, was about this black settlement, I guess you could say. It was predominantly black, and it was the settlement somewhere down south. I don't remember where. And it was there was a case where like some white man's pride got uh, attacked, and it turned into a fucking like practically a civil war between like America and this like one town. And they basically bombed build this town, and you can go to the remnants of this town, and it's like right next to a city. The town doesn't exist, but like concrete stairs are still there, and you can go there and visit there, and you can see the hallmarks of what the town used to how it was structured. Like I said, there's like staircases, and you could probably see like outlines of houses, and it's just sort of sad, and they like don't want to build over it, it's like one of the biggest hits on on blacks lives, that the black community. This was like a full-fledged town. Like, it had a school, it had you know legal system, it had houses, it had everything. It was like a full-fledged town annihilated in a night, or like a couple nights, I don't know. It was pretty shitty. And they actually had an interview with one of the last survivors who still lives to this day, who's over like 100 years old, this woman, and she just talks about her experiences, and it's pretty devastating. But yeah, like I said, this movie's strengthened by the fact that it does take advantage of being able, or having the perception to look at current day going ons, and using that as a method of explaining, how screwed up the country is. There's a lot of Martin Luther King talk, which you couldn't do a racism movie without that. So, documentary about that. But the fact that it is just another um, racism history of racism movie, it's it's okay. It does chronicle, like I said. You could use it as like your de facto uh documentary on racism, and show it to kids today, like high schools. And I don't it's not necessarily ever going to be timed. It's going to be timeless for the most part. Yeah, it does have a lot of, today stuff. Like I said, the statues being taken down and whatnot, but it's a good movie. I liked it. It was fine. But unfortunately, due to just it being just, in my point of view, just another generic racism documentary movie, I'm not going to rank it too high. I'm actually going to rank it just under Jackass Forever. I'd watch it again, sure, if I'm in the mood, but it doesn't offer me anything more than I don't already know. Like, I already know racism sucks and black lives suck. It sucks to be a black man. So that's I didn't need explicitly to be told that, but I do like racism movies. It's fun. It's like always like an underdog story, and who doesn't like an underdog story? But getting to the meat of it, that's where the movie shines. So yeah, if you want to learn a couple things that you may not have already known, learn how certain people you may know, or even people you don't know, like certain white folk, you find out like there's this bridge named after this one guy, and it's kind of crap. Like this guy did basically nothing except, you know, kill black people, and it just sucks that there's a fucking bridge named after him, and there's like a legal, uh, like document or something that says cannot change name on bridge, and it's like okay, whatever. It sucks. I mean, not whatever. It's bad. So yeah, go see this movie. Who We Are: Chronicle of Racism in America. Good movie. Rank it right above Casablanca, right under Jackass Forever. Have a good night.